We're 54 years in to the constitutional right to counsel, and we've made great progress. We've enjoyed many successes, but there's also much work left to do.
Our most fundamental mission is to seek justice and to protect the American people by enforcing the rule of law. Now, that can only be done if we honor the rights of the accused. The point of the rule of law is to maintain a fair and rational system of justice characterized by universality. What do we mean by that? What we mean by that is it applies equally to every person. Under the rule of law, people who are tasked with enforcing the laws need to do it impartially. And a fair and strong criminal justice system requires a robust adversarial system, one that ensures that individuals who are charged with a crime have their rights safeguarded. And chief among these is the right to counsel. When we see a breakdown in the rule of law, it should not be something that we consider tough luck for a criminal defendant. It's much worse than that. It's a breakdown for all of us if people are not properly represented. So I'm proud that the Department of Justice launched the Right to Counsel campaign. Only through working together across our criminal justice system can we ensure that individuals, even those who commit crimes, are protected. Through collaboration, we're better able to ensure that defendants' rights are protected, and we all have an important role to play in upholding this critical and necessary right.
It's my privilege to welcome you all this morning. The Office for Access to Justice is the primary office in the executive branch focused on the right to counsel and access to justice. And we're so thrilled that we can be here together again for the third annual meeting of the Right to Counsel National Consortium, an important project launched by the Department's Bureau of Justice Assistance and supported by American University's Justice Programs Office. The R2C National Consortium, as it's called, is a collaboration between the Department and criminal justice stakeholders, all of you, to uphold and strengthen the rule of law.
Over the past year, the Right to Counsel National Consortium has continued to focus its efforts on raising awareness, engaging national, state, and local criminal justice stakeholders, community advocates, and policymakers through online outreach, social media, presentations at conferences, roundtable discussions, and webinars, and elevating the defense voice in criminal justice policy conversations. We recognize that change takes time and that every person in jurisdiction might be at different stages. And this change requires both changes in our policies and our culture. Today, though, we hope to meet each of you where you are, provide you with new tools to be our Right to Counsel champions, and inspire you to take action when you return home.
Those rights don't mean anything if you don't have effective assistance of counsel to ensure that those are properly raised during the course of a criminal defendant's time in the criminal justice system. And that's where your work is so important.
We feel that the income that someone has should not indicate or dictate their outcome. So they need to have proper defense at bail, at arrest.
You shouldn't look at a public defender's office and think, quote, I got stuck with a public defender. You should think that's my law firm.
The Sixth Amendment, as interpreted by the Supreme Court in Miranda, lays out very clear rules as to custody and interrogation and the responsibility of law enforcement to ensure an individual is informed of their right to counsel and the right to counsel is effectuated. If law enforcement is not paying attention to that in not only in the letter of the law, but in the spirit of the law, among other things, what we result with is wrongful convictions. And nothing can be more toxic to the relationship between law enforcement and the community. We will get nowhere if we don't think systemically. And that's the key, is for law enforcement to fully embrace the concepts and the benefits of collaboration with their partners, because we shouldn't be thinking adversarially when we're thinking about needed systemic changes. And certainly respect for the rule of law and the inherent place that right to counsel plays in that is central.
You could be in the middle of an investigation of a very serious crime, someone invokes, and by the time they get counsel, it's 48 hours later at a bond hearing, and to the extent there were opportunities for that person to cooperate, to help with the investigation, to do things that were covert or maybe even save someone's life by getting valuable information, that opportunity is not there. Whereas if there is a lawyer assigned to that person right away, then we do have the opportunity to talk to the lawyer and to say, look, here's what we need. If, we can figure out situations where maybe we set up a proffer situation, maybe we do something informal in terms of a cooperation agreement, but we are able to actively work with and do a lot more in an investigation than we could if that person did not have a lawyer. So I think there are countless situations where having access to good counsel is a huge asset for prosecutors and law enforcement.
Really, one of the things that we've found that is so helpful is that getting to people early, that early intervention provides not only, that Sixth Amendment piece where we can really get in there and work with people on their cases, the reduction in failure to appear where we can make sure people are, make that court date and have cost savings to the system. But early intervention's been really helpful in a lot of cases in avoiding, repeated law enforcement contact and helping connect people with local social services, with mental health resources, substance use disorder, and other housing and other local services we have. So for us, that's where the need for this program kind of came from.
This larger right to counsel issue and all the things that fall under that umbrella, it can be very complicated and it can become very overwhelming. But sometimes there are these low-hanging fruit that you can get everyone at the table around and sort of start with that. And now you have all these relationships developed, you have all this coordination, and you have something that everyone can look to and say, hey, this is an outcome that has been mutually beneficial for not only the person going through the system, but all of the actors that have been involved in the system. And now maybe there's something a little more complicated, or, it's going to require a little more teamwork and a little more convincing, but we have these relationships of working together, so we're ready to maybe take the next challenge
We
on.
really need good defense at the trial level. We need them to be well-funded, and people need to recognize that at any point in time, it could be you, not a criminal, but the accused, sitting at that table, and you're going to hope that there is a well-funded, well-trained person who can stand there with you and make sure that all the rights that are guaranteed to you are put into place.
Pointing out that this is that there are conservative groups very strongly behind this, as well as liberal groups. It's not a partisan issue. So this is the time to bring everybody to the table. Let's work on a solution that everybody can live with, and let's have a better indigent representation system.
What I plan to do is continue to learn more today, to have this conversation at a local level, and then, as Domingo, as you know, with the International Association of Chiefs of Police, talking about this at a higher level, so that we can all, again, we're not always going to agree on specifics, but the general idea that public defenders are important and they need to be, funded appropriately, and making sure that we recognize we really are on the same team, even though in the courtroom there might be a winner and a loser, that the Justice Department worked because it was fair and people were represented.
It all comes together in the context of what kinds of a criminal justice system are we looking for? Are we looking for a criminal justice system that is primarily designed to punish people? Or are we looking for a criminal justice system that is primarily designed to use the accountability that is inherent in someone being charged with a crime to get that person in a better place in their life, where we can help them with various mental health problems and substance abuse problems and get them in a platform where they could ultimately become a productive member of the society. So as I sit here today, to me, it's rather obvious the type of criminal justice system that we want.
As I'm sitting here, I am a representative of the government. I am the government, I am the state, and as the state, I am saying to you, I'm sorry that the state harmed you, that the state arrested a child and convicted a child, that the state school did not come looking for you, that the city hospital did not see what you came to the hospital with and do something about it. You know, time and time again, the state, the police department looked at you as a child and as a victim and did nothing, and even victimized you more. And I'm giving you an official apology from the government. I wish that didn't happen. I can assure you that that's why we're here today and why we do what we do is so that that doesn't happen again.
Through that last court hearing that ended in hugs and tears, well, what is your view of the justice system now in terms of justice achieved?
I feel totally different. I feel like justice has been served as far as my end, to where I feel other people should have an opportunity to go back into court and to be able to tell their stories too. To where I don't think it just stops with me.
The pursuit of justice is what brought us all into this field. And in order to achieve our collective mission, we need effective public defense. To make sustainable change, we must recognize the value of defense and take a proactive role in its preservation, making sure that it is functioning consistent with the Sixth Amendment.